Hi, I'm Jennifer Lynn with Wisdom Flow Yoga. Welcome to 7 Steps to Handstand, and this is step 6. And in this session, we're looking at the inversion being really about the hips coming up over the shoulders. The hips coming up over the shoulders. It really doesn't matter so much where the legs are. They might be out 90 degrees from the torso. They might be split wide. They might be split front and back. They might be straight up. But the hips over the shoulders is what makes the inversion. So if, as you're going into handstand, that is what you're focusing on, the hips leading and the legs following, you're going to have a lot more stability. Think about the arc of the hips over the shoulders versus the arc of the feet over the shoulders. It's much more manageable to think about the hips. So what you need to do is get really good at managing your pelvic tilt. So your first homework is going to be to stand with one foot forward and without changing anything, simply draw your groins into the body. So you're not leaning forward. You can see the subtle motion. Not doing it, doing it. Not doing it, doing it. And then switch sides and get really good at this. I'm just drawing, hollowing my groins out, drawing them in, reaching my butt back, and then not doing it, and then not doing it. And then your second line of homework is going to be to get close to the wall in sort of a squishy downward dog and take one leg up the wall. Walk your hands back like you're going to do Hanumanasana at the wall. And then with a push of the foot, I'm hugging into the midline, which is part of the steadying, hugging my inner legs to the midline, and I'm simply pushing my right foot into the wall. You can always tuck your toes if the toenails don't like this, but I'm doing that same thing where I'm learning to move the hips over the shoulders, not so much. Over the shoulders, not so much. And you're just learning to do this little bit of jackknife action and make sure you switch sides so you have a nice balance. So arms and legs hug the midline, and then I just push into the wall and let that energy transfer right into my groins, and I suck them in, right? And you can start to move more hips over the shoulders and really get used to it. This is a great way to build strength and stamina. And then when you're coming into handstand, to start thinking about the hips leading the way would look something like this. So you don't even have to get all the way up, but you start with your shoulder integration. Right? You're going to lift a leg, hip integration, inner spiral, hook tailbone. And then you tone the belly to bring hip and shoulder integration together. Right? And the hands are alive, the feet are alive, and when I hop up, I let the hips lead. I'm doing sort of a jackknifing action. I'm going to show you the contrast, but eventually the hips come to the wall first, the legs follow. Watch what happens if I don't do that. And you might be able to see that the reason that isn't working is that my foot is to the wall, but my hips are not over my shoulders. So I say to this leg, you follow the hips. Hips, you lead. It looks something like this. And that's where we catch the pose, right? There's a jackknifing action, and it's coming from sucking the groins in. So learn, your homework is, if you can, get the hips to the wall first. Then you can press with the foot and come into the pose from there. So, thank you for tuning in. Practice tilting at the pelvis and drawing the groins back so you learn to lead with your hips into handstand.